module for everybody to come and join. This is a free evening. I'm Barnaby Andersun. I'm the founder of CryptoIsFIRE.ai, of CFIRE, as we like to call it. C standing for crypto, and FIRE standing for financial independence to retire early. So it actually has a meaning. And I didn't actually even come up with that. Curiously, the FIRE movement has millions of people in it. And it's been running for, weirdly, about 30 odd years, the FIRE movement. You can go over to Reddit and check it out. And so it's a really big thing, and nobody really owns it. It's not like a brand. It's just like an open source kind of concept of this FIRE movement. And it's actually, it's not pro-crypto, really. It's actually all about stocks and bonds. They're a real conservative bunch. That's where this FIRE movement comes from. So I've kind of put a different spin on it by saying, hey, crypto is FIRE. How about we use crypto? What if we started to use the new economy of crypto for being your method of financial independence to retire early? So that was my inspiration to create the CryptoIsFIRE.ai. And why the .ai? So there you go. It's a CFIRE, short for the whole thing. Crypto is financial independence to retire early. So we're just shortening it down to CFIRE and .ai because AI is this amazing new tool. I'm sure that we're all even using to some extent now, thanks to ChatGPT that came out just around 2 years ago, a bit over 2 years ago. So it's changed our lives dramatically. And it really has, AI has enabled all of us to start learning and doing many things, but one of them is learning in a very new way. So it offers a really powerful opportunity to learn in a new way. So tonight, we've got our first, the new trainers. We've got Eddie and Jordan who are coming on. They're going to be running tonight, not me. I'm just doing this little intro. Barnaby Andersun, the founder, here to hand off to the amazing educators that are going to be really giving you some gems tonight from Eddie and Jordan. Obviously really different in their age and what they're up to, and you're going to love hearing their story. And I have a big background actually with both of them in different ways, very different ways. With Jordan, I've been working super close with his dad for many years now on different blockchain and crypto projects, and we've really built a very strong bond. And I just really appreciate everything that James, that's Jordan's dad, is doing. He's really super excited about everything we've got here with CFIRE. Jordan is he's just turned 20. He's at university. He's an amazing guy, really diving into crypto. So you're going to hear all about that from him tonight. And Eddie, I met Eddie. He joined CFIRE, CryptoIsFIRE, in the last year. And Eddie he comes from a corporate background where he had an amazing career, little high flyer, and he was able to leave all of that and start living his dream life. And he's going to tell you about that and how crypto has become a big part of that and how he's making passive income using the strategies that you can learn in CryptoIsFIRE. Now, tonight is not going to be really that deep, but not technical on the strategies of how you make passive income. That's what you can do on Thursday night. You can come join me the same time now on Thursday evening for members. Yeah, so if you want to participate in that, if you actually want to start learning how to have passive income while you sleep, daily passive income, tune in this time on Thursday. So let's not get ahead of ourselves. That's for those who want to really step in. We're here for you. CryptoIsFIRE is all about helping everybody, no matter where you're at. And guess what? It starts with tonight. It always starts with tonight, right? Or today. But it starts with the key elements that Eddie and Jordan are going to be running you through. You need a foundation. You need to understand, well, what even is crypto? Why should I be interested in this? What is Bitcoin? How did this even happen? And how do I even hold it? What is this thing you can't hold? And that's the wallets. So that's what's covering tonight. And these are key elements just for you to start wrapping your head around. And I can tell you now that I wish I joined a call like this when I first heard about Bitcoin. Guys, just to be honest, it was 2011. And this is where I'm going to wrap up. I'm going to hand over to you guys in about 30, 60 seconds. And I'm leaving you in very capable hands. I can tell you now, if I had joined a call like this when I first heard about Bitcoin, one of the absolute most key things that nobody explained to me was what you're going to be hearing tonight about, the limited supply of Bitcoin. And if they just said that to me, I'm not kidding when I say this. I'd actually probably be a billionaire right now. So over to Eddie and Jordan. Take it away. I'll see you guys. Hopefully, join us. Register as a member at the Ignition level. You're going to hear about that tonight. Join us on Thursday night. Over to you, Eddie and Jordan. Go for it, guys.
Yeah. Hi, everyone. Thanks, Barnaby. Beautiful introduction. My name's Eddie Karst, and I'm a wealth and crypto embodiment coach. So I've been in the space now for a few years, and I didn't know it at the time when I left what I call now my old world job. I used to be a management consultant and felt very blessed. It took me all over the world, and I got to work on so many different projects and really embody the theme of, I would say, transformation. So that was sort of my sweet spot. I helped some of the biggest companies in the world to improve and transform. But I did get to a point somewhere down that line where I felt like I needed to change something. And I ended up really just starting from ground zero. And I started asking the bigger questions, tried to hone in on my why and figure out, like, what is it that I want to be doing for the rest of my life, because of this really overarching theme that I think is going to resonate with a lot of us on the call tonight, which is sort of this feeling of uncertainty about the future, what the future holds, and maybe how difficult some of the situations are becoming, since we're going to be talking about crypto tonight, from a financial sense, whether it's trying to save for certain things that we want to buy or fuel our children's future, or just secure the wealth that we've already managed to accumulate in this lifetime. Lots of questions are coming up about, I don't really know what to expect. And the one thing that dawned on me as I was sort of in that transition phase from moving out of the corporate world into this world of entrepreneurship was, what does that world look like? And how am I going to prepare myself in ways that maybe are a little bit different than what we've been seeing conventionally? Because it really started resonating true to me that what I was doing was not going to be good enough anymore. The expenses just started getting to be so great that even with a six-figure income plus, I felt like I was always kind of getting by. And that was just me on my own, living in Canada. That's where I'm from. I'm from Ottawa originally. I was born in Calgary. And when that started clicking to me, I really started asking those deep questions like, okay, I need to figure out maybe a different way, or to supplement what I was already doing to help start planting seeds for the future that would grow in the background, something where I could shift so that I'm not always just trading maybe my time for money. And what we're going to explore and learn tonight, and what CFIRE offers in sort of its structure, is an opportunity to do just that. It's an opportunity to learn tools and provide a structure with a huge community and support so that you can go after your bigger whys, but do it in a way that will keep it fun, where you won't feel overwhelmed, but there's also enough meat on the bone in there should you want to delve even deeper. So what I'm saying is, this can be it really is going to be whatever you make it. I'm a big believer in, we are our own greatest asset. So you are your own greatest asset. And so whatever you choose to do in respect to your objectives, your goals, your dreams, your whys, CFIRE can complement that journey. In fact, it can even make it more exponential, and you can accelerate towards it. And that's sort of what I've been delving into with Barnaby for the last year, is I've been exploring how CFIRE can help me do that. Because really, for me, it came down to a few things. I wanted to make myself a global citizen and more mobile, to have flexibility to be wherever I want, whenever. I didn't want to be in this situation where I felt like maybe I was working this 9 to 5. And in my case, I was working lots of overtime hours. So it wasn't just a 9 to 5, but also the fact that I couldn't shut off after, I was done with the job. And that would sort of eat away at me, maybe while I was going to bed at night or waking up in the morning thinking like, oh, I got to look at my calendar right away because I don't know what's coming and I don't want to be blindsided. So there was lots of, I think, internal programming where I wanted to go, okay, in finding another way, what things are out there that can support that journey so that I can go towards some of these greater goals. And ultimately that led me down this path that, okay, I do actually have to start figuring out a way to make some money while I sleep. We have to start planting seeds now. And in Jordan's case, even better, because he has a 20-year head start in this thinking compared to where I am. But if we can start planting seeds now today that start growing in the background, well, now we're really starting to hedge against, this ever increasing pressure that seems to be coming about, from a financial perspective in the system that, that we're used to with fractional reserve banking and SWIFT. And that's a whole thing we can learn about the money system another day. But we can feel it in our daily lives. It's more difficult than ever to keep up. And we want to have ways to, to explore that. So Jordan, I want to take a moment here just to ask you, because sort of, my perspective is, I come from this corporate 6-figure, leaving all that behind. Now I've transformed my life. I'm kind of dreaming big and going for it in that respect. And crypto has helped me, move towards that, in that I've been able to transfer a lot of my wealth into that space. What does crypto mean to you? And like, how did you get, how did you get involved in crypto? Where did you hear about it first? I'd love to hear, a little bit about your story.
Well, first of all, you guys know my name is Jordan Wiggins. I attend Grand Canyon University. I'm studying marketing right now. And I heard crypto actually from my dad, because when I was young, I played basketball. And I was younger playing basketball. My dad was at every practice, every game, every event. And I had some friends where they were like, oh, like my dad can't show because he has work and things like that. And I'm like, I've never heard my dad say, hey, I got to go to work or I got to clock in at this time. So one day I was like, this was recent too. Like I probably like a year and a half ago, I asked my dad, like, what do you do? Right. So I asked my dad and he was like, crypto. And I'm like, what is that? And then he explained it to me because before I asked my dad, like I heard about crypto, but I didn't think he did it. And I didn't really look too deep into it. Then he told me like Bitcoin and he started explaining all this stuff to me. I'm like, wow, like, I mean, obviously works and he's doing the right thing because he's never had to work. But prior to him doing crypto, he was obviously an entrepreneur, one of the best entrepreneurs out there. And this stands down, one of the best out there. He told me about it. I'm like, okay, even at a young age, I always told myself and people around me, like, I'm going to be my own boss. No matter what I do, I'm not going to have anyone telling me what time I got to clock in and what time I can leave. Like, I want to own my own time. You know what I mean? There's more to life than working hours to earn money. And the thing with crypto is you don't have to do that. You can make crypto while you're asleep. And after my father explained that to me, I'm like, okay, so I started studying crypto, even making some crypto, making some money from it. And it just opened up more windows. Like I'm now day trading, opened up that window for me. And I'm still in the process and journey of becoming, at the level I want to be at with it. But like you said earlier, like I do have a head start because a lot of people learn about crypto later and I'm only 20 years old. So I kind of lucky I got in early. So by the time, I'm 30, I should be well off by then. But I just think anyone and everyone should take the opportunity. Like it's not too late. I've heard people say like they're too old to, comprehend the technology. It's not, guys. It's anyone can do it. Anyone can do it. So that's really who I am and where crypto comes into my life and why I want to do it and why I'm here doing this educational meeting with CFIRE. Back to you, Eddie.
Yeah, Jordan, thanks for sharing that. And that really hit home for me because it is what we're going to showcase tonight, guys, and have a little chit chat about and keep it casual. Is really like you're going to learn that actually what we go through even today, which is part of just the free modules. And I'll show you the back end of, what's inside of CryptoIsFIRE in just a sec here. But what we're going to cover today, there's like 100 videos that are just part of the free sign up. So even just for clicking on the link to sign up today, you can go and start exploring the back end of CFIRE, and I'll show you that in a sec. And what we're going to be talking about today, you can actually take that knowledge and you could start earning now. So, you know, even if you felt like, oh, you know, maybe I'm too late, or I don't have enough, you know, technical expertise, or I don't have anyone else to help me or show me maybe how to do it. We're gonna give you some seeds right now tonight so that you could actually take that, and if you wanted, you could go and start earning. And I'm going to go through some numbers that even show maybe what that looks like, you know, what that could look like for you. So, you know, without further ado, like, let me share my screen here. I want to start taking you guys through what I really view as a gift. You know, like I said, I've kind of been around the crypto landscape for a while. I've done, even just, you know, being in the entrepreneurial space, I've done lots of different courses and development. You know, personal development has always been at the forefront for me, and continuous learning. That was one of the seeds my dad planted within me a long time ago. So I've done a lot of courses. I've had a lot of teachers and mentors over the years. I haven't come across something like CFIRE in that time, you know, and I can say that in a very grounded, you know, true to myself way. It combines all the aspects that you need to take it wherever you want it to go. So it provides you with the structure, the theory, the learning part, but it gives you the AI assistant. So you have a mentor there, and I'll show you that as well when we explore the back end, that can help you along that journey. You can ask it anything you want, and it scales with you. It's sophisticated. It's our own AI that's built specifically for CFIRE. It scales with you as you move along the journey. So, you know, Barnaby was talking about there's different courses and different maybe levels, and I'll show those later in the call as well. The AI scales with those levels. So it scales with you so you grow together, you know. So we're not only are you going to grow on your own through this journey, and even just in this call tonight, you're going to grow via the program and the beautiful pathway that it provides us with. And you're going to grow with the AI, but you're also going to grow with the people around you, because now CFIRE also gives us this beautiful community of like-minded people that want to explore something different, that want to do something a different way, that want to, you know, start making real passive income, you know, in the background that they can leverage to do the beautiful things that they want to do in their life. So I'm just going to open up my screen here, and I want to show you guys. So, you know, in the last year since I've been working with Barnaby and CryptoIsFIRE, we didn't have this. You know, this is literally brand new. Like, you guys, this is the first call that we've had, you know, in terms of a training for CFIRE, and it's really beautiful. I'm still getting familiar with all the different sections and topics, so don't feel overwhelmed. There's a lot in here because there's a lot of different tiers, and you can it's one of these things where you can delve as deep as you want, or you can keep it almost as shallow as you want, but you can still get the solutions so that you can start, you know, earning as quickly as possible, essentially. That's what this allows us to do. So I want to start us off by just taking a moment, because I think there's a misconception a little bit when I talk to people about crypto, because there's a lot of narrative out there, you know, in the wider arenas now, especially now that crypto's been around for, like, let's say 14 years, and Bitcoin more specifically. There's this sense that it can give, like, oh, you know, that either I don't have time, the technical expertise required, that mountain is too great to overcome, or there's so many people already doing it, I've probably missed the boat. I went ahead and looked up some stats around that, because if you ask ChatGPT, for example, like, well, how many people use crypto today? It's actually quite staggering. It's not very many of us. You know, less than 7% of the world even owns crypto, period. That's it. So really, I want to say, like, congratulations for being open enough to be here on this call tonight, or to be watching the recording of this at a later time. Welcome, because you are still so early. Only 2 to 3% of the people in the world own Bitcoin. So yeah, we hear a lot about it, and it's in the media quite a bit these days. But the reality is we're still very early on that adoption curve. Now, the interesting thing about crypto and the way people discuss it in the wider arenas is the challenge to crypto, or against crypto, has been like, oh, well, maybe that's a scam, or it's not here to stay. But now we can see even more than ever, like, governments are talking about, like, oh, we need to diversify into crypto to help us handle our national debt, for example. We've never been in a place actually where we are today where it's been so legitimized. And in fact, people have been trying to kind of break crypto for quite a while. Like, they've been trying to almost like break Bitcoin, and nobody's had success in doing that. What I'm getting at is, it's never been more apparent that crypto is here to stay. It's never been more apparent that we are actually now going through a quantum financial revolution of sorts, where things are moving into this fully digital, I guess, blockchain-based sort of economic financial system. Okay, and I'm not going to go too deep into the technology and blockchain and everything, because that'll be for another day. But just know that you're in the right place at the right time, and kudos to you, for being open-minded to explore ways that maybe you can start making this work for you, because I can tell you it's certainly been working for me. And so much so that I've, made a full partnership, Crypto Concierge. That's what I founded as part of my wealth and crypto embodiment coaching. I partnered with CFIRE without batting an eye, because I can just see how much this is going to help people. It's literally going to be my job now to retire others. And you can do the same. That's how much power is inside of here. It's going to equip you, should you so choose, to free yourself financially, to set the terms of your own retirement, but also give the gift to somebody else. And when you do that, you can even accelerate your own journey, because there's a beautiful referral and sharing system that's built all around this, kind of like an umbrella. Okay, and I'll talk about maybe the details of that a little bit later. But well done, you're early. We don't know what it's quite going to look like, as it unfolds, in terms of like how it might replace or complement the existing banking system. But we're already kind of there, if you think about it in a way, right? Like, we already pay for things in a very digital way. I mean, it depends where you live in the world. Like, I'm down in Mexico, so I noticed compared to Canada, there's still a little bit more cash. People are using cash still a lot more around here. But in Canada, it's not uncommon to go out with friends or, pay for everything, whether it's using your phone or using a card or or just, doing online banking. It's not uncommon for people to hold no cash at all anymore. So we're kind of in this place where everything's already digital, but now there's going to be this leap, this stepping stone to the next phase, where we move everything over into the land of crypto. But again, this is early doors. So this is a beautiful thing for all of us on the call tonight, because we can really kind of sit in gratitude and be thankful, like, dang, if I'm this early, that means there's huge opportunity still. Because usually in any opportunity, the people that are coming in earlier on reap even more reward and more benefit. In fact, that can be quite exponential, and crypto is not really any different. These are just some other statistics, right? Like, there's other statistics about, the global ownership of crypto, but the reality is it's almost nobody still owns, Bitcoin or crypto. Okay, now when we talk about crypto, most of the time, and if you ask maybe somebody who's not as familiar with crypto, they might hear crypto and go, okay, I'm not really sure what that is. But if you say the word Bitcoin, often you'll get people chime in or their eyes will light up and they'll go, oh, okay, I know what that is. And that, and Bitcoin is a cryptocurrency. It was the first one. And it kind of behaves in a way that it drives the rest of the market. So if we talk about all of crypto, we have about, I think today it's around $2.7 trillion, okay? And just to put that into context for you, the world of conventional stocks and bonds and that kind of thing, that's like 150 trillion. I think gold is around 18 trillion. So crypto is still like just a small piece, but it's growing, it's growing slowly and surely, and eventually it will start becoming a much bigger piece, okay? And out of that 2.7 trillion, Bitcoin is over 60% of that. I think you can look this up on a chart called Bitcoin dominance, but all that's going to show you is that Bitcoin represents I think it's about 62% right now out of all of that 2.7 trillion. So you've got Bitcoin, which is the compass. I like to call it the compass for crypto. It guides the behavior, the price behavior for all the rest of the cryptocurrencies. And it represents over half. So it really is the cornerstone of the industry and where people put a lot of belief now. And, so for me personally, even because I transferred all my wealth out of the SWIFT banking system, I moved as much as I could over into crypto. I kind of look at Bitcoin now as kind of like I used to look at my house. So, our homes, usually we look at that as like, oh, that's a store of value. That's where I can accumulate my wealth and hopefully it appreciates over time, which real estate can be very good with that. Bitcoin can be that as well, and so I look at kind of Bitcoin in that sense now. That's sort of like the association that I make compared to how I used to look at my store of value and wealth. But why are people so hyped up about Bitcoin? Well, the reason is because it's actually the best performing asset of all time. And I went on to ChatGPT and I wanted to ask it, well, what does that performance look like? What makes it better than the other assets performance wise? And I just want to highlight this one part to you guys. There's something called DCA, which is, dollar cost averaging, but all that means, it's a complex term, but all that means is, I put a bit of money in on a frequent basis over time. So just like we would do with a savings account, just like we would do with an investment account, maybe we'd say like, I'm going to put a certain portion of my income every month into that, set it and forget it, and let that grow. That's all DCA means, but it's just in the sense, we use it in the sense for Bitcoin. And what this is saying is that if we can put a little bit into Bitcoin over time, in this case, it's looking at a 10-year horizon from 2014 to 2024, and it's saying $100 a month, you would get a return of about 30+% per year. Like, that is powerful. It's powerful as a standalone, but it's powerful as a comparative to other asset classes, to other types of investments. So for example, the conventional stock markets, like if we look at maybe the S&P, if you were looking at an index, you would expect a return maybe, let's say, between 7 and 12% per year. This far exceeds that. So that's one of the reasons why there's so much discussion and hype around Bitcoin specifically, because now we have almost like enough data, we have like enough track record that we can start to see, oh my gosh, this thing is appreciating in value like nobody's business. This thing, in crypto land, we say like that thing's shooting the moon. Okay. So that's why people are excited about Bitcoin, because it's showcased now over many, many years that, geez, this is performing better than anything else. And so people are starting to embrace that. And that's kind of why you hear so much about Bitcoin specifically, maybe compared to all the other cryptos that are out there, which are now it's like thousands and thousands and thousands, which does make it a bit intimidating and kind of scary in a sense because there's so much out there. But that's also why CFIRE can help us so much, and we can help each other because this provides us with a lens and a framework through which to look to do crypto in kind of the right ways and to know what to look for so that we can start making the right decisions that are best for us and our investment thesis and our goals, our dreams, our bigger whys. We want to satisfy those. So how does CFIRE, what is it exactly and how does it fit into this conversation? So CFIRE, I look at it, really is the future. This is the future of learning and development for crypto, but also just for setting ourselves free financially. We can create using the strategies that are in here and combining them with, building a sense of good habits for ourselves, just like in anything that we do and practicing, we can start planting the seeds and building generational wealth starting today that's going to grow. And we can also then learn the skills to secure it for the future, pass it down to our children and our grandchildren and, future generations. And that's really what CFIRE is designed to do. Okay. So it's going to give us, if we so choose to embrace that gift, it's going to give us a chance at ultimate financial freedom. In my case, even global mobility, certainly high passive returns, ownership over our wealth. And this is one of the things I'll talk about in a little while, but this is a separator between old ways of accumulating wealth and newer ways, like this more futuristic way of doing it in crypto. But also inflation hedging, because we all experience the rising costs and the inflation. That's a key pain point for most of us now. And so we want to be addressing that. That's why I kept talking about, like, I got to figure out a way to earn money while I sleep. I have to get to the bottom of that. So in CFIRE, we have this fully tiered, and that's kind of what you see on the left-hand side of the pane here, folks. There's all these different topics. I don't want you, you don't have to feel overwhelmed. Just know that there's a lot of meat on the bone here. There's videos about hundreds and hundreds of different topics that you can delve into over time. You don't have to do it all at once. You don't have to finish the program before you can start earning, not at all. And it's step by step, and it guides you through that process at your own pace, at your own leisure. And we want to make sure that we're always keeping this fun. That's one of the key principles that I use in Crypto Concierge. Like, we shouldn't be doing crypto. We shouldn't be doing anything really, actually, in our lives if it's not filling us with joy, because we have enough of the other stuff when we go out into the world. Sometimes, we get bombarded with all kinds of different things. So we make sure that we're having fun along the way. And if we can make money while we're doing that, well, game on, even better. Okay. And helping us as a catalyst along that journey is this AI tutor that Barnaby has put together specifically for CFIRE that scales with us as we scale in our learning journey. And it looks like this. It's this chat box here on the bottom right-hand side. It's called CFIRE. And so Supernova, that's the name of one of the tiers. I'll show you that later. But CFIRE is the name, and you can ask it anything you want. So whether you have a question about what is Bitcoin, or what, a question about maybe the markets, you can go down that journey. You can even tell it things about you. So I've already tried starting experimenting with this a little bit. I gave it a little bit of my background. I said, what do you need to know to help tailor, our interaction and our experience so you can give me the best answers that are not just generic, the best answers for me. And so I gave it all kinds of information about me and what my goals and aspirations and dreams are, so that it can help build a profile for me to even further tailor the responses beyond just the curriculum itself. So we have a really key, coach in our corner here, so to speak. And then, with CFIRE, we're going to have the whole community. So individuals like myself, we've got this beautiful team of educators, many of whom have joined the call tonight. But also anyone that you're working with, maybe who introduced you to CFIRE, you're going to have those people in your orbit. And then Barnaby's hosting calls, for members. So he alluded to that in the early part of the call, like this Thursday. So, if you were really excited after tonight and you're like, you know what, I want to delve in right away and just take the plunge and see where this leads me, you can be on that call on Thursday if you want. Okay. So he's got membership, calls set up for that. Those are very frequent. We're going to be doing these Tuesday calls just to continue to introduce people to the curriculum and the opportunity and what how CFIRE can, make their lives easier, can make their goals more achievable and accelerated. And then wrapped around all of it is a really, really well thought through and rewarding sharing and referral system. So when I said earlier, I've made it my mission now to not just retire myself, to set myself free financially, but to make it my path and purpose to do that for others. CFIRE is the ticket to do that, essentially. It's a golden ticket to allow you to do that, because when you share this system with others and they enroll, you can get upwards of 30% off of a membership. It's very powerful. This idea about making a toroidal ecosystem where not only are you going to better yourself, but you're going to better anyone else who you bring along the journey with you, who's open-minded enough to receive that gift. That is a really beautiful thing. Okay. And here at the bottom, I just, also want to talk about this last part, which is like, you're going to get specific strategies in here, guys. You're going to get specific solutions to what we call DeFi or decentralized finance. But all that means is these are mechanisms to help you create passive income. So this is where we can start earning money while we sleep. Okay. So not only, and we've already just learned about a little bit about Bitcoin and how dollar cost averaging into Bitcoin. So if I just put a little bit into Bitcoin over time, I now know I can generate upwards of 30% if I have it, let's say over a 10-year time horizon, maybe even in shorter time horizons. If you time it correctly, it could be more than that. Not only are we now already equipped just by being here tonight to go out and actually start executing on that, in CFIRE, once you go deeper, you can start uncovering these other solutions that allow us to earn high yield. So high percentage passive income. And I've included my own personal example here because I've been trialing one of these things and I've been using it just over 100 days, not that long, like just over 3 months. Okay. And I put about $2,500 into it. And it's already turned into over $3,600, guys. Like, maybe I'll take a moment here, Jordan, because I don't know if you have a savings account in a conventional bank. What is your idea of savings and return when you think about investing? Like, do you have a perspective on that? Especially I want to hear, because as a younger person, I'd really like to understand, well, what do people think about when they're thinking about nowadays about like, oh, I need to save for the future? Do you have an idea about that?
Well, me personally, obviously anyone that thinks about saving, like my example of saving is like, say you get a check or if you make money, how I would go about saving is like I take a percentage, like say like 30% or whatever, put in a savings account, maybe take 20% and then put it into investments like crypto or anything like that. But I think the main thing when it comes to people in savings account is they want their money to flip. So they see their money flipping, and once they physically see the money like work, and they, like, for example, crypto. So as they get into crypto, say they, buy crypto and they see their money go, they're gonna be like, okay, this is it, and then they're going to continue to do the same thing. So me personally, I think it's just the amount of money that they see flipping with the money they put in. So that's my thoughts on that.
Do you use a savings account out of curiosity, like a conventional one in the bank?
Yes.
And would you be able to turn 2,500 into 3,600 in a couple months?
No way. That's what separates this from everything else. This is it right here.
Yeah, isn't it? Isn't it? You know, this is what really opened my eyes to the power of crypto and DeFi, because it's so huge, guys. The magnitude of the potential, the fact that we are able to eliminate the middlemen, so to speak, and the other parties and transactions that siphon out a lot of the value and the wealth from conventional systems. We don't have that in crypto. In DeFi, you're connected directly to the protocols. So you just go straight in and you get to benefit directly from it. And so this is just one example of the power of DeFi. That interest rate that allowed me to do what that example of 25 into 3,600 in 3 months, it's 0.33% per day compounded. And this is a separator for crypto compared to everything else as well, because when you have compounding in crypto, it never turns off. It's 24/7. It's not like, we ring the bell and the markets close at 4 p.m. Friday or whatever time it closes at. It's not like that. It runs all the time. So when you do start compounding in crypto, you get those extra few days as well back. You get that back and all the overnight. So it's churning all the time. And when you start using them too, you can watch it. You can put the money in and then you can see it. It'll start telling you like, oh, you've already got 2 cents, 3 cents, 4 cents. Like you can watch it like right on the screen. It's going to grow in front of your very eyes. And it's such a rewarding experience to see something like that when we're used to thinking about like, oh, okay, well, if I have a savings account, I'm going to need millions of dollars in that in order to actually get something substantial to benefit from it. And most of us are not starting out in that position. So, another reason why I have now started becoming very attached to the opportunity that lies within decentralized finance, but crypto. Okay, so Bitcoin. Let's talk a little bit more about Bitcoin, because I want to get to the bottom of what makes it so different. What makes it different than everything else, and what allows it to maybe increase in value, like we were just talking about. Like what gives it those features? What are the features that fuel it to allow it to provide, let's say, 30% over a 10-year horizon of putting in 100 a month? Well, there's a few key features, and one of those features is that there's a maximum supply. So there is only ever going to be a maximum of 21 million Bitcoin. Now, Bitcoin can be fractionalized, and that's what you see on the screen here. You see like, oh, there's a whole bunch of decimals and a 1. That's a Satoshi. That's one small fraction. That's the smallest fraction that you can get in Bitcoin is 1 Satoshi. It's called Satoshi because Satoshi Nakamoto was the creator of Bitcoin. We don't really know who that is. That's a mystery. And we can talk about that. We can talk about that mystery on another day. Just to know that, okay, so there's 21 million and that's it, so because there's a maximum supply, it automatically means that this is somewhat of a scarce resource. And right now, because let's say only 3 to 5% of people in the world own it, maybe it doesn't feel like it's that scarce, but it's scarce enough that people aren't going and buying pizza really with Bitcoin anymore, which you did hear about maybe 10 years ago. People were going and doing all kinds of things with Bitcoin, like they might go to they might buy a beer with it or a pizza or something like that. Or actually a lot of Bitcoin was lost as well. And we'll talk about that in a minute. But all to say, there's a maximum number. It's 21 million. That's all there's ever going to be. And right now, as we speak, actually all the time, there's folks out there who are mining it. So, I'm going to show you guys some other numbers in a moment, but just know, okay, so we have a max supply, 21 million. The other key feature about Bitcoin is that it has built-in kind of deflationary mechanisms that further its scarcity. So one of these features is a halving mechanism, and we'll talk about that. The other key feature about why people are so hyped on Bitcoin and what separates it from other types of assets is that once you have it, you can kind of take it anywhere you want. Like you can bring your wealth with you. And crypto is beautiful for this because we don't have to carry, we don't have to wheelbarrow around our millions of dollars. We don't have to put them in our suitcase and try and transport it. Crypto can be held on devices that are as tiny as this little bad boy right here. Okay, and we're going to talk about wallets towards the end, okay? But it's portable, and once you have it and own custody over it, nobody can really take that from you. You're going to have a key, and as long as you keep that secret to yourself, that's yours. Nobody, can tell you how to spend your crypto, what to do with it, who to give it to or not give it to. You have full custody over it, so you can kind of take it anywhere. There's not really restrictions in that way. So in that way, it's really global. Okay, so it's kind of borderless, and you don't really need other people to help you trade it either. So for example, like if Jordan and we were hanging out and we wanted to strike a deal and say like, oh, I don't know, Jordan, I love your hat tonight. Like, how many Bitcoin do you want for it? We could strike that deal and we can do a peer-to-peer transaction right away between us. I don't have to go through a bank. I don't have to log into my online banking and then put in my password and do all these things to use some other utility, a third party, to then execute that transaction. That's the other beauty of crypto and Bitcoin. And that's a separator, is that we can actually just do that, one-on-one. Okay? So, but how is this possible? How is that possible that there's a maximum supply of Bitcoin? Well, it's built into the protocol. So it's hard-coded into it. And what makes it so different than the money that we use out in the real world, when we talk about, let's say, fiat currency, which just means anything like US dollar, Canadian dollar, Japanese yen, Mexican peso, whatever, any kind of currency, those are fiats. Bitcoin, you can't print any more of because there's this max. Whereas all the other ones that we use in conventional banking and finance, those are printed at infinite. And so actually, because of that feature of fiat, when they print more, they're increasing the overarching supply. And that means what you hold in your bank account will naturally devalue. And in fact, that happens while you sleep. And so when I learned that and I started really reflecting on that, it made me realize like, oh my gosh, so not only am I worried about protecting my wealth and what I already have, I have to worry about it devaluing as the future moves forward. And that really was like a moment for me where I was like, okay, that's why Bitcoin's important, because that kind of counteracts that a little bit. It helps us to hedge. So Bitcoin, 21 million. Up to this time, so as of kind of today, there's about 19.84 million out of the 21 that is out in circulation already. Means it has that part has already been mined. So there's miners out there who have servers and they mining protocols, and they expend energy to solve problems, solve equations, and then they get rewarded in Bitcoin for that. Okay, so 19, so a huge part of the supply already has been sort of put out there into the ether. Okay, so that means that there's only 1.16 million, or about 5-6% still to be mined moving forward. Okay, so now you're starting to get a feel for the rarity and the scarcity. Okay. And in fact, of that 19.84 that's out there, it's even less, because 3 to 4 of that has been lost, which I kind of mentioned earlier, or burned. There's an, and all that means essentially is that it's gone to addresses or wallets where nobody knows the key to get in there. They don't know the code, so to speak, to unlock the safe anymore. And so it's just kind of, it's kind of lost. So in reality, that's another somewhere between 14 to 19% of the supply further reduced. So it's not really 19.84 out there. It's kind of quite a bit less than that. It's more like 15 to 17. Okay, so cap supply, and in combination with some of it being lost and burned over the years, means more scarcity, and things that are scarce in this world increase in value. Another feature that I want to talk about for Bitcoin, is that, and this is where it, again, is a bit of a separator compared to what we're used to with conventional money, is that, you could argue that it's actually backed, that there's support underneath it. So our paper money, it used to be backed. Many, many years ago, it used to be, for example, like gold used to back it. That doesn't exist anymore, so really when they print the money, it's just like they're printing it out of thin air, and it just goes and it dilutes the supply, and it means what you hold devalues. So that's unbacked and by its very nature inflationary. Okay, whereas Bitcoin is backed because in order to increase the overarching supply of Bitcoin, people are working hard using those mining protocols. They're churning. They're using energy, and they're spending their money on that energy, right? So there's a cost there. So when you buy Bitcoin, also you're inherently buying the energy that someone has already expended to release it into the ecosystem. So those are two really key distinctions that we need to understand and make between, like, okay, conventional fiat money, unbacked, inflationary. Bitcoin, backed and deflationary, scarce. And I want to talk, this will be the last little bit that we talk about Bitcoin here, because it's a really important point. Why is Bitcoin deflationary? So what makes it so that it becomes more scarce over time? And there's something built inside of it, part of the protocol that's called a halving mechanism. And that takes place every 4 years. Okay, so every 4 years, and we're going to show a chart here. I'll scroll down so you can kind of see it. You see these dotted lines here against the chart? Those are the halving events. So every 4 years, we had one last year. Okay, but every 4 years, this halving event takes place. And what it does is it makes it harder for the miners to solve the problems that it solves to be rewarded with the Bitcoin. So all that means, in essence, in a simplistic way, is I have to expend much more energy now to get the same result. And that expenditure of energy grows, each time there's a halving event. And so that makes it naturally deflationary and adds to the scarcity and rarity of it, because if it gets harder and harder, and we need to spend more time, more attention, more effort, and more cost to get the same result, well, that will push the price up. And it also makes it so that we're churning out less supply over time. So like we were saying, there's only 1 million now left. Well, it's going to be harder and harder and harder each halving event over the years as we move into, like, let's say 2030 to get that, to extract that out. So it's naturally deflationary. So those are the key kind of fundamentals that I wanted to talk to everybody tonight about Bitcoin and what makes it different and why people are talking about it and why they're hyped about it. Okay. And that in and of itself, and so understanding those kind of 3 points, allows us, in combination with this DCA strategy, we could go away right now and start, earning a rate of return on Bitcoin by investing $100 a month into it, as an example. I want to pause here because I just want to make sure, Jordan, have I missed anything that you wanted me to hear me talk about in that part of the discussion? And also if there were any questions that I might have missed along the way here.
No, you explained everything well. Everything is explained, and you explain everything so people can understand. Because obviously, not everyone's familiar with Bitcoin and all the terminology you use, when explaining it. So, no, I have no questions, and you didn't miss any questions either. So,
okay, great, thank you. Yeah, super. We're getting closer to time here, so I'm gonna run through really quickly. Okay. If we wanted to buy Bitcoin now, well, what do we do with it? There's one other step that we need to know, and that's we need to hold it somewhere. So in the same way, we can think about this the same way, like when we have our conventional money, we need somewhere to put it. So in our conventional world, in our conventional thinking, that's like, oh, I open a checking account, for example. Let me go to the Wells Fargo or CIBC or whatever big banks are in your country. You open a checking account and you can start depositing your money into there, or where you work will deposit into there for you, for your salary or whatever situation you have. In crypto, we need a version of that. And that version of that is just called a wallet. And there's lots of different types of wallets. We're not going to deep dive into all the different wallets because, like you can see here, even on the side pane, there's actually quite a few different wallets here that we talk about even in CFIRE. There's hundreds and hundreds of different kinds of wallets, and they're not all equal. But CFIRE can help guide you to find the wallet that fits the exact purpose that you're looking for that reason and that particular coin. But we do need a place to store our Bitcoin, and that comes in the form of a wallet. The differences of wallets can be quite vast. We have this saying in crypto, and it says it's the golden rule. So it's like, not your keys, not your crypto. And all that means is if you don't hold the code, so to speak, or the passphrase behind it, you can't get in to access your crypto. So in the same way that if I had a stack of cash and I put it in my safe at home, there's a combination to that safe. If I lose the combination or I don't remember it anymore, it's going to be trickier to get it out now. It's kind of stuck in there. Crypto is kind of the same. You're going to have a wallet and you want to have a passcode for it. But some wallets, somebody else has the passcode for it. And that's sort of what differs the spectrum of wallets. Okay. And you can learn all about that, in the CFIRE curriculum. That's sort of the difference between what we might call a hot wallet, where it talks about it here, versus a cold wallet like I was showing you here. This cold wallet, it connects by USB, and I have a passphrase for that. I own that. But if I'm in something, for example, like a big central exchange like Binance, and I keep my crypto holdings in there, or Coinbase or Kraken, there's lots of central exchanges, I don't have that passphrase, actually. It's more like when we hold the money in the bank at that point. Because theoretically, the money in the bank, in conventional banking, that we don't really have custody over that. They kind of do. So something could happen, God forbid, where there was a situation where they had to freeze the bank account for whatever reason, or maybe cut off access. So you can kind of think about this device more like, oh, I have a safe and it's in my custody and I own the code to that, versus like a central exchange where it's like, oh, I've outsourced that custody a little bit. And there's always this trade-off in crypto between convenience and sort of custody and security. So the more convenient something becomes, sometimes we lose a little bit of the feature of custody and ownership. Okay. I'll give you guys, I'll just show you really quickly an example of a wallet. So this one's called Exodus. This is one of the coins that's mentioned in the CFIRE curriculum. And it's really simple to install a wallet. Really, all you have to do is, in this example, like we're using Exodus, it's exodus.com. We go there and you can look under products. There's different kinds of wallets. You can have one on your phone. There's a desktop app. There's this Web3 wallet. It's got this icon because it kind of acts almost like an extension in your browser. See, it says install for Chrome and Brave, and it's really just as simple as that. Like we can click on it and I can go add. I'm using Brave browser, so I can just say, okay, add. Can do it right here on the spot. Boom. Wow, that was easy. So, anybody can do that, right? And then you just kind of, you can follow through with the sequence of events. If you have an existing wallet, you can import it, or you can create a brand new one. You set up a password, and then you'll see something eventually that will resemble something like this, where you have like a wallet address, and then you can drill down and you can look at your holdings. Okay. And that's kind of what crypto wallets look like. It's pretty, especially the good ones, they're very straightforward and user friendly. And, but again, there's lots of different kinds, and you can, deep dive into the world of wallets, as you continue your journey and upskill there. The last thing, because we're kind of coming to the end now, for what I wanted to share with you guys in terms of like the topics for tonight, the theory. I just want to show you guys a little bit more about, okay, so I'm excited now. Like, I know I'm in the right place at the right time. Tell me more, Eddie. I'm excited. I want to know a little bit more about what can I do with CFIRE. So step one is you can sign up for the free account anytime. And then that will give you access to what you see on this screen right here. Okay. That'll give you access to all of this. It won't, now there's stepping stones because we have different membership levels. So you'll see everything, but you may not be able to access all of it because it might be a more advanced topic. Okay. But the first 100 videos, that's just, you get that for free. That's already part of just your free sign up. So you can do that anytime. If you haven't already, go in and sign up. When you start exploring it, you can then, there's this tab in here called Upgrade Your CFIRE. And I'm just going to show you guys that. This is under the Welcome to CFIRE tab at the very, very top. And this will show you all the different tiers. It'll show you, oh, okay, well, what's included with, if I want to take this journey further, like if I'm like, okay, I've seen enough, Eddie, I'm ready. I want to upgrade. What do I get for that? Or how do I decide which level to upgrade to? We've got a really beautiful summary here under CFIRE membership level. So you can click on that and it can show you in a table really easily all the different levels. Okay. And then the different annual membership costs associated with each level and what you get for that. Okay. So you can see here, you get in the free level that we were just talking about, just for signing up, you're already getting 100 videos, and some of the topics that we covered tonight, in fact, like what is crypto, what is Bitcoin, maybe what are some of the crypto wallets, that's already in there just for free. You could start that journey right now tonight. And then you can upgrade as you see fit. And then there's, it's going to list out all the different, so you can see all the different topics: security and privacy, exchanges, trading, DeFi, passive income, taxation, all the way down to sovereignty, structuring your wealth, generational wealth, building and sustainment. And so it will show you in this table what you can get for, at each of the different levels, should you want to embark on that journey right away. I hope, everyone, that, that didn't feel like overwhelming or too much, but also on the same side, not enough to know what this is all about. And I just wanted to say thank you again for, taking your time this evening, or if you're watching on the recording, thanks for taking time out. You're your greatest asset, and hopefully, what we discussed here tonight can help you in any meaningful way along your journey. And we look forward to maybe seeing you on future CFIRE calls or meeting you in the community. It was a pleasure to, have had the opportunity to chat with you guys tonight. One other point here. Okay, I can look at the chat. I haven't looked at the chat yet. So we talked about for the Ignition level members and above, that's the Thursday night call with Barnaby starting this week. So if you want to get on that, sign up at Ignition, and you'll be right away in the calls with Barnaby himself on Thursday. And that's where we're going to be talking about how to earn the passive income that I was talking about in my testimonial using the DeFi. That's the 0.33% minimum daily. So that's 6 p.m. PST Thursday. We have in the chat here a WhatsApp group that we can circulate that link to as well. Please feel free to join that. No KYC for those wallets that I was showing at. Know your client. That's your personal information and identification. Don't need that for Exodus. Thank you again, and look forward to seeing you on the flip side in crypto land. Have a great evening. Thanks.